large part of getting a chance to travel to other countries is being observant of the way they do things, taking note of like cultural practices and things that they do differently than we do here in the States. And that was very true during our trip to Europe. I spent a lot of time just really kind of soaking in, the culture and the rhythms and things like that. And there were a lot of things that just really stuck with me that I thought they do well compared to how we do them. And so today I wanted to share 5 things that I observed about European culture that I want to incorporate back here at home. So number 1 is recycling more. Almost everywhere we went in Europe, you didn't just see a trash bin, you saw a trash bin with a series of bins next to it for you to sort out your glass, your plastic, and your paper. It made it really easy to recycle, and in fact, we threw very little into the actual trash. And here we don't have that in a lot of places, at least where I live. Most places you go, there's just the straight out trash to throw things in. And even recycling from home, it's so expensive. It's almost as much per month for us if we were to pay to have recycling picked up at our house as our trash services. And our trash service is already expensive. So I would love for us as a family to be better about recycling and recycling more consistently. And that's probably going to mean us taking things to a recycling center. We do have some recycling drop-offs sites near us, and that's just something we need to make an effort as a family. And so I've been kind of talking with my son, who kind of helps build the things that I need built. And I'd really like to put together something kind of similar to this. I'll show you a pin I saw on Pinterest where we can have like a spot in our garage to put some recycling and sort it out. And see if that takes down our trash production, on a weekly basis. And also, will just help us do our part for the environment. And again, we're gonna have to make the effort to take it somewhere, but we have a beautiful world, and I think we're all responsible for helping to keep it that way. Number 2 is walking and biking almost everywhere. Now, public transportation is huge in Europe. Obviously, they have an extensive subway system and bus systems in most places, and people use those a lot. But we also observed tons of people just walking to get to their destination or riding bicycles to get to their destination. Especially in Switzerland and Germany, we would see these huge parking lots that were essentially just bike parking lots, and there would be hundreds of bikes parked there. I mean, it was amazing, and they had really extensive biking paths and things like that. So you could get almost everywhere by bike. And people had their bikes really tricked out. I mean, there were just these really cool setups that would allow you to put tons of stuff on your bicycle. You could go to the grocery store and put several bags of groceries and they'd be contained and you'd be able to get around with them. We saw people balancing so much stuff on their bicycles. It was really cool to see. And I would love for us to incorporate more walking and bicycling here at home. Now, the thought of biking to the grocery store, it's not really feasible where we live. I mean, given the distance from here to the nearest store and, the amount that we purchase at the store tends to be quite a bit more than what they do in Europe. They tend to buy in smaller quantities or buy things more frequently. But making an effort to get out and doing more walking and biking is definitely something that we can do. We can utilize the park trails and the hiking trails that are near us, take advantage of the fact that we do have these big expanses of wilderness that we are able to go out and hike in fairly close to us. There are efforts being made in our community to try to add more biking trails and just really utilizing those. I think that would just be great for us to spend more time outside and be more active. Number 3 is taking the holiday. So they get a lot more vacation time on average in Europe than we get here. And our tour guide especially told us, she goes, people have no guilt about taking their vacation. She goes, they're going to do it. The whole idea is that they work to live, they don't live to work. So when they want to take their holiday, they will take their holiday and they will do it guilt-free. And that has always been something that I have struggled with. I've always worked full-time, and there have been years at a time where I have felt awful about requesting any time off. I mean, I had, I think, a 2-year period where I just let my PTO build and build and build and build because I felt so guilty if I took time off. Oh my gosh, they're going to be short-staffed, and oh my gosh, there's going to be all this work waiting for me when I get back, and oh my gosh, how are they going to manage this and stuff? And you just got to let that go, you know? So taking the vacation time, just, just doing it, because I am not going to regret not being at work. I will regret missing out on vacation opportunities with my family. And that doesn't mean they have to be all of these big grand vacations where we're traveling to another country or to another state. It can even be just taking the time off to spend some additional time with my family here at home. And so taking the holiday is another thing that we want to incorporate here at home. Number 4 is an appreciation for art and architecture. There are so many cool things to see throughout Europe. Buildings that just have all of these intricate details, and they have been so well maintained. Art museums that just have the most fabulous collections, art pieces in the streets, artists working in the streets. It's amazing. It's just truly amazing. And I would love for us to increase our appreciation of art here at home, getting a chance to go out and visit more art museums. We have a fantastic modern art museum here in our city, going and visiting that, maybe taking the kids on some road trips to some bigger cities around us so that way we can go and visit the art museums and kind of focus in on different parts of them and really getting to know more about the artists and things like that. I mean, we've done artist studies in our homeschool. We took an art history course last year, but there's studying it and then there's going and seeing it in person and just taking that time to just really appreciate those works of art. And I want to kind of build that appreciation more in my teens and even in myself, and working on, trying to incorporate some more art pieces into our home. We have a lot of blank wall space. I think some art would be a wonderful addition to add to that. And number 5 is having a higher quality of food. The food in Europe is amazing. Like everywhere we went, the food was amazing. And I think a lot of that is that they really do have just a higher quality food product. They have far more restrictions as far as the ingredients and additives that can be put into foods that are sold in grocery stores. And I mentioned this in our Europe vlog. That's the reason why we couldn't find some of the things that we're used to eating and drinking here at home in the stores there, because all of the additives are things that are banned in Europe. So kind of under this category, one of the things that I want to do is be more discerning in terms of the food products I am bringing into the home. Really looking at those ingredient lists, making sure that, we are picking good quality stuff to bring in, and as many things as possible that have clean ingredients, fresh ingredients that you can pronounce all of the names of. And that will definitely be a bit of a challenge because we're going to have to change some of our palettes a little bit there to do that. And I just think that will be a good thing to bring in. I also, under this category, I'll talk about breads because, the breads, guys, the breads. I mean, croissants and brioche bread and fresh bread and just all of the delicious bread products they had available everywhere. I mean, we do sourdough. Well, my daughter does sourdough. She has been the sourdough queen in our house. But I really want to incorporate more fresh bread products in our home. And whether that is getting them from a bakery on occasion or just getting better at making them here at home. I mean, I can't expect Emma to do all of the bread making all of the time. As much as she loves to make her sourdough, I think she'd get tired of constantly making new bread products for us, but there's no reason why I can't make more bread products here at home. So I want to do some research on some different recipes and just try my hand at making some of the different things that we got a chance to have in Europe and incorporating those at home. And the last thing kind of under that quality food category is really having a good quality breakfast. Our breakfast bars at all of our hotels were amazing, and it's just because of the wide selection of really good fresh foods that they offered. Fresh fruit ready to go. They even had fresh vegetables in the morning, eggs, muesli, yogurts, crepes, like all kinds of wonderful options. Now, that doesn't mean I'm gonna plan to have like a huge breakfast bar set up every single morning. That, won't happen, but getting some things prepared in advance that, we can have access to, in the mornings, getting cheeses sliced up, fresh meat sliced up, having fruit sliced up, like making that part of my kind of Sunday meal preps for the week. So that way we can pull out those options for breakfast and have just a really good, healthy, fresh breakfast every day. I feel like that will just be a wonderful way to kickstart each day, especially, as we get into our homeschool year. It'll give us a chance to sit down and really savor that meal, maybe have a really nice coffee drink with it, get a chance to talk with the kids before we get started on our homeschool day. And so I definitely want to incorporate that back here at home. So those are 5 of the things that I observed about European culture that I would really like to incorporate back here at home. It'll definitely take some changing of habits and some thought on how to make those things work here in the States, because again, things operate a little differently. The availability of things is a little different, but I think with some thought and some planning, we can make it happen. If you enjoyed this video, guys, don't forget to give it a thumbs up before you go, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.